Hey everybody, welcome back. Today, let's talk about the HellRam and Hellkota. So I'm sure by now many of y'all know my involvement with John Boosted Motorsports, uh, helping him, assisting him with Hellkota and HellRam. So here's the real honest opinion on both of them, pros and cons, and also answering a few questions I've seen on the internet, comments on videos, random things like that. Shockingly enough, the Dakota actually does get traction, and it does it quite well. The Dakota is a little bit more raw. It kind of feels like a go-kart when you're in it. It's very light, compact, you're kind of squeezed in there a little bit. Not squeezed in there uncomfortably, but more like a race car where it kind of grabs you, grips you, keeps you in place. In my personal opinion, it's more like the Viper, where if you're in it for a while, it can be uncomfortable. You'll be struggling when you get out of it. Your back might hurt a little bit, things like that. But overall, the build quality on it, I can't even begin to explain the details John has put into that truck to get it where it is today. And also, he keeps continuing to kind of one up it a little bit, taking it to the next steps any chance he can get. It's definitely a fun truck to ride in, be around. As for the HellRam, on the other hand, that thing is comfortable. You got plenty of room, the seats are plush, you're comfortable. You got more than enough room to move around, stretch out, all that good stuff. It's a comfortable ride. You know, it doesn't really, you don't feel the bumps in the road as much as you do with the Dakota. And that's kind of a plus with that. So although they are very similar in ideas, concepts, they are completely different trucks. If you happen to be at Moparty, go check them out. The build quality is insane on them. They almost look OEM if you didn't know better. And the crazy thing is, neither one of them is done. Like, technically, there are always projects in the works. He's always adding something to them, you know, taking them to that next level. So, he literally just got HellRam done within the last week or so. We've been running around in it, putting some miles on it, all that sort of fun stuff, going to Wawa, running errands, you know, whatever we need to do. Look, we started working on the door panels a few days ago, and that's kind of when we realized Moparty is happening this week and not next week. So, we started on the door panels and kind of delayed it a little bit because there just wasn't time to do everything. We still had to prep the trucks a little bit and do a few things before he could leave. But rest assured, there's still a lot of stuff coming with him. I'm going to try to do a few things to this one door panel I'm modifying with to just try a few different things and see what I could make happen with it. So I was invited to go with him, ride, do the trip, all that fun stuff. But I have a few other things going on right now that kind of counteract with that whole trip. So he's going to go do his thing. I'm going to be here working on a few different things. Have some other things going on too. But really, with the Ram, you could pretty much daily drive it. It's that good. So the reality is the Dakota is kind of more of a weekend thing, in my opinion, just because it's so rowdy and more go-karty, versus the Ram is just comfortable. You can pretty much daily it, go anywhere in it. It's not really that crazy when you're in it. It actually has a lot of like sound deadening to it, so when you're sitting in the truck, you can't really hear it, aside from like the supercharger whine. But I think after this trip, well, before this trip, John loved the Ram, don't get me wrong, but he just kind of wasn't as crazy about it compared to the Dakota. because it's not really as rowdy and impractical, I guess is the best way to put it. It's very calm feeling. You feel secure in it. Where in the Dakota, it's a little more, let's say, sketchy, but like in a good way. You know, it's a little more raw. It handles a little differently. It's more like the Viper is the best way to explain it. The Ram drives more like just a regular Hellcat Challenger. It doesn't really feel that crazy. You're just kind of going comfortable. You know, you aren't really in it being active, getting into it like with the Dakota. So that's pretty much it for today's video. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow along below. Definitely check out the Boosted Motorsports channel if you aren't already.